Now, much has been said and written about the impact of globalization on Africa. We live in the digital age, and increasingly our globalized world is being shaped by cyberculture. It's all under the spotlight in a new book, Globalization and Cyberculture, an Afrocentric Perspective. The book looks at what happens when Western and African cultures merge through digital communication and how that affects development on the continent. Now, the author is Kehbuma Langmia. He's a Fullbright Scholar, professor, and chair in the Department of Strategic, Legal, and Management Communications at Harvard University. Professor Langmia, welcome to Africa 54.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So, a very intriguing book, in fact, I have to say, Globalization and the whole question of cyberculture. First, share with us in a more simplified way, what are we trying to talk about here? It's how you communicate and how communication in this cyber world can bridge the gaps that have been there, that promote stereotypes between the Western and African culture?
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to, first of all, thank you for welcoming me into this program. Yes, I'm looking at communication that used to be in Africa and the kind of communication that we are now facing with. And the digital modes of communication that has come like an earthquake or a tsunami, transforming the way Africa used to communicate prior to colonization of missionaries or prior to the digital age. So I'm saying that the culture has actually been completely shattered, and there has to be a way in order to bridge the communication that used to be in Africa and the communication that we are used to today.
Now, are you saying there's something negative about that, or you can blend the two in order to get something that is still very effective and beneficial, but that retains both the traditional way of communication and embracing the modern way of communication?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity which is accompanying these modes of communication. Remember, Sheikh Anta Diop used to say that no nation can ever develop by using the language of another nation. Whether we like it or not, English and French and Portuguese are the languages that we are now using in Africa, and this is a language in the digital age. And so the traditional African languages are suffering because of that. One. Two, the idea of media literacy, the idea of cybercultural techniques are only being mastered by those who've gone to school. Those in the urban areas, those in the rural areas are absent. That's why we talk about a digital divide. Mm-hmm. The digital divide is one of the issues that is actually eating up the African communication sphere.
How do we reduce that space?
In order to reduce that space, there's something that we always call hybridization. In other words, some kind of education, some kind of preparation for those who have been left in the periphery, letting them know that, look, you can still include African culture, African languages in this digital age, which is not the issue. Look at texting. You can only text using those languages, or you try as much as possible.
Yeah. You do talk in your book about a hybridity of Western and African cultures. I presume this is blending them together and finding a way, a middle ground.
Yes. And that is the only way forward. And one of the issues that I discuss in the book is looking at ways where we can at least bring in those African cultural communication techniques. And there is cyber subculture that I discussed in the book, where we have issues like the Midzit in South Africa, or we have the Kokoliko in Ghana, or the Niger Power. These are also social media platforms within the internet that are being used by folks of these countries. They may use their local languages, or they may use Pidgin or Creole in order to communicate. That's the hybridity. That's the only way we can at least move forward in this digital age.
Yes.
Because if we completely consume the Western modes of communication, then there is dire need for African culture in this digital age.
This is going to be a longer conversation. We must continue this another time. I want to thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you so much.
And sharing your insights with us. Professor Langmia, Kehbuma Langmia of Harvard University.